Hey there, gamers. Welcome to the Game Pulse channel. Today, I've got a lineup of highly anticipated games that are totally worth living for. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find something you like. And if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Enjoy the show! Even though Konami had a separate Silent Hill transmission planned, they decided to surprise everyone at State of Play with an early look at one of the most intriguing spin-offs in the series. The publisher, Annapurna Interactive, and the developers unveiled a new trailer for the psychological horror game, Silent Hill Townfall, which sheds light on the story's setup and the game's setting. The new trailer introduces us to the protagonist named Simon Ordell. He's called back to the island of St. Amelia to make things right. He'll have to explore an area shrouded in thick fog. This island, resembling a gloomy fishing village, seems abandoned and empty, but in reality it's full of restless forces. Simon needs to figure out his connection to this place and its inhabitants, piecing together fragments of a forgotten past. Journalists and viewers noted the dense atmosphere and mind-bending approach to storytelling, which promises a worthy continuation of the Silent Hill franchise's concepts. Silent Hill Townfall is set to release in 2026. The game will be available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. After the triumphant success of Kingdom Come: Deliverance II, interest in realistic medieval themes just keeps growing. But what if, instead of reliving someone else's story, you start writing your own? That's the kind of freedom Chronicles Medieval offers. It's going to be a role-playing action strategy that combines the epic storytelling of Crusader Kings 3 with the epic battles reminiscent of Total War and Mount and Blade. The game is set in the 14th century in a realistic Europe filled with political intrigue, shifting alliances, and power struggles. You create your hero, shape their background, and choose their path, from a humble blacksmith or a bandit to a noble knight. Every decision impacts your skills and opens up new opportunities. The world reacts to your actions. You can take part in tournaments, help villages, complete quests, forge alliances, or spread fear and chaos. On the strategic map, you'll expand your influence, establish trade routes, hire troops, and lead them into real-time battles. The game is all about realism. There are no dragons or magic here. It will stick closely to realism as much as possible. Chronicles Medieval is set to launch in early access in 2026. The game will come to PC first, and later on to PS5 and Xbox Series. The game called 1348 Ex Voto tells the story of Ada in the year 1348. She's a young noblewoman dreaming of becoming a knight. After bandits attack her village, she sets off to find her missing friend Bianca. Ahead of her is a journey through crisis-ridden Italy, exploring villages, castles, and the ruins of Rome, where she'll face violence and lawlessness. So, players will travel across a medieval peninsula, where the country is torn apart by plague and roads are controlled by bandits, mercenaries, and religious fanatics. The events will unfold in realistically recreated locations, from villages and castles to the remnants of ancient Rome. The developers say that Italy as a setting was a natural choice since the studio is based there, and the team conducted research in the countryside to capture the distinctive landscapes and atmosphere in the game. They also promise us spectacular sword battles, created with real medieval fencing in mind. By the way, friends, professional fencers took part in recording the movements, just so you know. Yes, the studio might be young and super small, but it's really ambitious. The team is made up of international veterans from the AAA industry, and hailing from studios like Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red, and Activision. The game's release is planned for mid-2026. It will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. A game called Project Windless. For a long time, this project based on iconic Korean literature was just a beautiful dream for gamers, supported only by atmospheric concept art and short technical teasers. But after years of silence during the State of Play 2026 presentation, the publisher Krafton Montreal finally broke the silence and unveiled the debut trailer for Project Windless. This game is a single-player action RPG with a vast open world. Set in the universe of the famous fantasy novel series, The Bird That Drinks Tears. It has a dark atmosphere and rich lore based on Eastern folklore. Even during the early announcements, gamers unofficially dubbed the project the Korean Witcher, and judging by the footage shown, those expectations are totally being met. The new trailer showcases massive battlefields and a high density of enemies, prompting some journalists to compare the gameplay to the Dynasty Warriors series, but with a much more polished visual presentation. The combat system looks fast and fierce, and overall the visuals are quite stunning. Players will step into the shoes of a mighty warrior from the Recon race. These are anthropomorphic giant birds from Korean tales. The main character must traverse a war-torn world, forge alliances, and participate in massive battles to unite the fractured lands and establish a new kingdom. The project is being developed using cutting-edge technology, presumably on the latest version of Unreal Engine 5. Project Windless has been officially confirmed for PS5 and PC. The exact release date hasn't been announced yet, but the game is expected to drop in the first half of 2027. So what do you guys think of the new Korean Witcher? Let me know in the comments. To me, it looks pretty unique and interesting. I've never played as a rooster warrior in my life. The Polish studio Starward Industries, known for the game The Invincible, made up of former CD Projekt Red employees, just dropped a new gameplay trailer for Into the Fire. This is going to be an action RPG about surviving in an active volcano zone. In the storyline, we play as an explorer who came to study a dormant volcanic ridge. But things went sideways, and now we have to escape an eruption. Plus, it's not just about saving ourselves, but also helping others. The main focus of the game is battling the elements and rescuing locals. You'll need to make quick decisions, whether it's navigating through burning buildings, fleeing from lava, or choosing between saving one person or helping several. And usually there's no time to think. The volcano obviously isn't going to wait for you. They've also creatively incorporated local beliefs and conflicts among the residents. While you're trying to save everyone and figure out what's going on, you'll have to deal with not just a natural disaster, but also human fears and prejudices. The developers plan to release Into the Fire in early access sometime in the third quarter of 2026. The game will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Black State. This game is a third-person action-adventure set in a world full of mysteries and secrets. Black State feels like a mix of Metal Gear Solid, Splinter Cell, shaken up real good, and it honestly seems like the story was crafted by Kojima himself. The game kicks off with you being summoned by architects. This group of mysterious scientists gives you a crucial mission: to save prisoners and uncover the truth about an event that changed the world forever. It sounds like an easy task, but really, you're in for a dangerous adventure packed with surprises. The standout feature of Black State is its unusual doors. They act like portals, instantly transporting you to new locations without long loading times. But you never know what's waiting for you behind the next door. That kind of unpredictability keeps you on your toes. To survive in this strange world, you'll need to master different weapons and gadgets. Every item in your arsenal can help you win, or on the flip side, lead to your defeat. The most important thing is to always stay cautious because dangerous enemies will cross your path. These include specially trained humans and ruthless robots designed solely for destruction. They don't just passively wait for you, they actively search the map for you. So, you'll have to become a true master of disguise. Plus, you'll learn over 100 combat techniques. Black State is set to launch in 2026. The developers will announce the exact date soon. The game will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Recently at the Game Awards, Remedy Entertainment unveiled a sequel to Control. And it was clear right away that the team is creating not just a sequel, but a pretty bold reimagining of their universe. Instead of Jesse Faden, we now have her brother Dylan, and instead of the iconic service weapon, you'll get a mysterious transforming blade that can shift from a sleek sword to a heavy weapon. The gameplay focus has shifted dramatically toward a dynamic and intense slasher, where close combat, dodging, and blade techniques take center stage. Meanwhile, the magical atmosphere of the universe remains intact, and even feels enhanced. Puppet-like figures on strings, birds breaking apart into geometric patterns, and familiar locations distorted beyond recognition by paranormal forces. The new installment of Control is described as an action slasher RPG, where the struggle is not only against external threats but also for one's own humanity, in a reality that's constantly shifting and losing its familiar shape. This could be the strangest and most thrilling adventure Remedy has ever crafted. They haven't tackled action slashers before. Control Resonant is set to release in 2026. The game will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Well, Gothic fans, I can finally congratulate you because Alchemy Interactive has announced the exact release date for the Gothic remake. The updated version of the cult RPG is set to launch on June 5th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. The developers promise to carefully recreate the original from 2001, but completely reworking it with modern technology. You'll once again embark on a journey to the Valley of Mines, a harsh colony surrounded by a magical barrier. After a botched ritual by the mages, the prisoners found themselves trapped inside and formed their own factions, turning the area into a dangerous and lawless place. At the center of the story is the nameless hero, whose arrival could completely shift the balance of power. The remake will retain the spirit of the original, with open exploration and a living world where NPCs follow their own daily routines. Plus, the game will feature expanded quests, new character reactions, additional movement options, and an upgraded combat system. And of course, stunning graphics powered by Unreal Engine 5. The developers promised over 50 hours of content, a branching storyline with a choice of one of 3 factions, and a dynamic world that reacts to the player's actions. And once again, folks, the updated version of this cult RPG is set to launch on June 5th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Cyberpunk fans should check out the single-player shooter DEFECT. The studio Empty Vessel, where developers of Doom, Call of Duty, and The Last of Us work, just showcased the first gameplay of their new game DEFECT, promising us a whole new level of immersion and destructible environments. This game will have no interface, just a small tablet with all the essential info. Plus, there will be insane realism and destructibility, where every physical object can be destroyed. Even each type of ammo interacts with the environment in completely different ways, and gadgets and tools drastically change the approach to combat. The developers promise us dynamic, non-linear storylines that react to player choices in real time, and the game world never repeats itself. In the new trailer, we saw a squad of armed personnel called The System, a futuristic police force attacking a ruined apartment complex to take down a rogue artificial intelligence. But things quickly escalate into a brutal clash with a local gang. The game is set in the last city of humanity, controlled by a ruthless AI. You'll take on open missions, from weapon smuggling and target elimination to hostage rescue. The game will be available solo or in co-op for up to 4 players, in both PvP and PvE modes. DEFECT is being developed on Unreal Engine 5 and will be the first project from Empty Vessel, featuring an atmospheric soundtrack by Mick Gordon himself. For those who don't know, he's the guy behind the music for Doom. The release date is set for 2026. The game will launch on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. In the latest State of Play broadcast, Saber Interactive, known for their successful action games like World War Z and Space Marine 2, surprised viewers with some major news. The developers revealed the debut trailer for a high-budget game set in the John Wick universe, which currently goes by the working title Untitled John Wick game. This project is being created in close collaboration with Lionsgate, and the director of the original film franchise, Chad Stahelski, is personally involved in the game's development, overseeing the entire process. The game will feature an original storyline that fits within the film universe, expanding the lore of this assassin world. Players will encounter familiar characters from the movies as well as completely new heroes. The gameplay of John Wick will revolve around the signature gun fu system, combining shootouts with intense hand-to-hand combat. The team at Saber is putting a special focus on camera work to make you feel like the star of an action movie. Alongside combat, exciting driving sequences and a variety of memorable locations are promised. In the trailer, viewers got a glimpse of John Wick himself, whose appearance is once again brought to life by Keanu Reeves. And the coolest part, folks, is that Keanu Reeves will be voicing his character, which really highlights the serious status of the game. Right now, the game doesn't have a final title or even a rough release date, indicating it's still in the early stages of development. The release is planned for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Recently, the trailer for the new game Sea of Remnants was revealed, a free-to-play role-playing game with action elements from Joker Studio. The main character is an amnesiac sailor who sets off on a journey with a mysterious girl. Their main goal is to reach the cursed ocean, Sea of Remnants, filled with secrets, treasures, and lost memories that shape the very world of the game. All characters, including the main hero, are designed like dolls with vibrant expressions and unique, beautiful animations. The developers promise freedom of action, ship upgrades, multiplayer that includes raids, monster hunting, battles against other real players, and the chance to explore seas, storm islands, search for ruins, and ancient tribes. As the sailor who lost his memory, you'll navigate unpredictable seas, battle mysterious monsters, build your own fleet, and develop the evolving pirate city of Arptopia, where every decision you make matters. Sea of Remnants is set to be an unusual mix of a sea adventure, emotional RPG, and sandbox in an original, beautiful visual style. The project is being developed for PC and PlayStation 5, with mobile versions for iOS and Android also on the way. The expected release date is in the second half of 2026. Liquid Sword Studio, founded by Just Cause creator Christopher Sundberg, has finally unveiled their debut project, and it's way more ambitious than many fans expected. The game is called Samson, a Tyndalston Story. By the way, the studio has already confirmed that the game will feature elements inspired by two of the most well-known projects from this team. Specifically, the developers drew inspiration from Mad Max and Just Cause. It's going to be a gritty open-world action game, telling the story of a return to Tyndalston, a city that doesn't forgive weakness. The main character finds himself in a deadly trap. He owes a large sum to some very dangerous people who are using his sister as leverage. This will be a focused, brutal story without any unnecessary fluff, where time is working against you. Players will have to carve their way through dark alleys, rooftops, and industrial wastelands, relying only on brute force, speed, and nerves of steel. The gameplay combines relentless hand-to-hand combat and aggressive driving, where the car serves not just as decoration but as a deadly weapon. You'll constantly have to make tough decisions as the unique action point system limits the number of available missions, and your growing debt requires you to meet daily quotas. Every morning, the stakes will rise, and any chaos you create will intensify police pressure, turning the city into a war zone. Samson, a Tyndalston Story is set to release in the fourth quarter of 2026. The Studio TI Games just dropped the first trailer for their new game, Zoopunk. It's a project that lets us peek into a world where animal instincts and a tech-driven environment blend together. The video showcases key elements of the project. A tech-infused world lies in ruins, inhabited by creatures with hybrid traits of animals and machines. Plus, we get to see some gameplay snippets. Players will take on the role of an anthropomorphic rabbit, skilled in combat, as they search for an artifact called the Spark, which, judging by the trailer, quickly falls into the hands of a hostile group. In the end, our main hero has no choice but to take out the enemy forces to reclaim the artifact and return it to its rightful place. The trailer highlights exploration mechanics, dialogues with NPCs, and episodic battles, where the hero uses both weapons and unique abilities tied to his hybrid nature. This is going to be a third-person action game. You'll have three characters to choose from: the Rabbit Rayton, the Rhino Brighton, and the Chipmunk Trixie. The game takes place in a world that mixes diesel punk and Eastern aesthetics, where animal machines clash with each other. Zoopunk is being developed for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. The approximate release date is the end of 2026 or maybe early 2027. And something tells me, friends, that the game will actually drop in early 2027, since no one in their right mind wants to compete with GTA 6, because that's just tough competition. But overall, the Zoopunk project looks pretty unique and interesting. We're looking forward to fresh trailers from the developers. The Chinese studio Fenghua has announced its debut project titled 14 Years of Fire. This story-driven first-person shooter promises to tell us about the 14-year-long war in China during the Second Sino-Japanese War from 1931 to 1945. The game will place a strong emphasis on historical accuracy and an emotional presentation of the material. The developers aim to showcase the tragedies and heroism of that time from the Chinese perspective, and of course, highlight the horrors of war, reminding us that in any war, there are no winners, just destroyed lives and shattered fates of ordinary people. Players will experience 16 real historical events and key battles from that period. Your journey will start with fighting in Manchuria and will take you to the ancient capital of Nanjing. The story will be told through the lens of 7 different key characters, allowing gamers to see the war from various angles and understand the human cost of conflict. The developers promise to recreate the harsh landscapes and unique atmosphere of China during the anti-Japanese war, focusing on immersing players in the realities of that time. The release date is set for 2026. The game will be available on PC and all current consoles. Infold Games, in collaboration with the Chinese studio Tripsworks, announced an ambitious action RPG called Ballad of Antara. This game promises to thrill gamers with a dangerous journey through a unique world inspired by dark fantasy and diverse Asian cultures. Today, the developers are giving us a first look at the gameplay of Ballad of Antara. The gameplay feels a lot like a Souls-like game, where each battle can be a serious challenge even for seasoned Souls gamers. I've noticed there's been a trend towards Souls games lately, but While Ballad of Antara has that typical Souls vibe, it will definitely have its own unique twist. You'll have the chance to control multiple characters at once. Players can instantly switch between heroes and utilize their abilities, plus rely on the help of constant companions. The game is expected to feature a diverse arsenal of abilities and epic, stunning boss battles. It's currently in active development and is set to release in the second half of 2026. The game will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Mobile versions for iOS and Android are also confirmed. They recently announced Mortal Shell 2, the sequel to that buzzworthy Souls-like from a few years back. None other than Jeff Keighley showed us the new trailer where you can really check out the dark, Gothic style of the game, with some colorful enemy designs that pull elements from Resident Evil, and also kind of remind you of H.R. Geiger and Dark Souls. Gameplay-wise, yeah, it'll be a classic Souls-like, with bonfires, hardcore enemies, and you'll have the chance to take down monsters both up close and from a distance with your shotgun. But unlike the original Dark Souls, the developers really focused on the animations, and watching those finishing moves on monsters is just a blast. Plus, the graphics are way better than those in the Baba Yaga games. So, friends, if you love hardcore games, Souls-like experiences, and that dark, Gothic atmosphere, you definitely can't skip Mortal Shell 2. The game is set to launch in 2026, and the developers should announce the exact release date soon. It'll be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Red Ruin Studio has shared the first teaser for their new project, a co-op action game called Canyons. The trailer instantly grabbed players' attention with its absurd yet vibrant style. Various zombies roam the desert, you get attacked by killer cacti, and giant hands burst out of the sand. Honestly, friends, Kojima would definitely be into such a co-op. In the Canyon, players can expect a shared PvE adventure set in a procedurally generated world full of crazy creatures, fanatics, and all sorts of desert horrors. You can play solo or team up with up to 4 people to survive together in this wild world. The developers promise dark humor, their signature crazy tone, and a ton of bizarre mechanics. Players will make blood pacts with otherworldly forces, scavenge for supplies, use sacred relics, and traverse the world on giant crawlers. These are kind of like tank ships that move across sand and air, and this will be, I believe, your main base. Canyon is being created for PC and PS5, with no word yet on Xbox. The release date is set for late 2026 or early 2027. A small studio, Argonaut Games, has dropped the first trailer for their new game Supreme Experiment, a story-driven sci-fi action-adventure from the first-person perspective. The game will take players into a world where machines have evolved into an independent, autonomous species, rejecting humanity and creating their own gods. And on top of that, the artificial intelligence has completely turned its back on humans, making them the main enemies. In the storyline, what's left of humanity hides in massive tower cities, while outside lies a perilous world, left in the wake of a war with machines, a war that humans nearly lost. You guys will have to leave the safe zones, explore abandoned territories, fight machines, and gradually uncover the mystery of what happened, all while trying to save what little is left of humanity. Supreme Experiment will launch on PC. The estimated release date is the fourth quarter of 2026 or early 2027. Publisher Team 17 and Studio Expression Games have announced a new game called Hell Let Loose Vietnam. It's a multiplayer shooter set during the massive war in Vietnam. The game is set to release in 2026. Players will find themselves in Vietnam during the long conflict. Battles will take place across 6 expansive maps filled with dense jungles, rivers, and mountain valleys. There will be 2 sides, North Vietnam and the U.S. Armed Forces. Each army will have 19 unique roles available, from commander and sapper to pilot, helicopter, and sniper. Matches will feature up to 100 real players, and victory hinges on smart coordination and teamwork. New mechanics make the game way more dynamic. Americans will have helicopters for transporting squads and providing fire support, while the Vietnamese can build a network of underground tunnels for ambushes. Both sides will be able to use patrol boats to control the rivers. The movement system has become more user-friendly. Now, soldiers can pull their teammates out from under fire, giving them a chance to heal and survive. Basically, it's just like Battlefield 6. Hell Let Loose Vietnam will have 6 modes, including familiar ones like War and Assault, plus 4 new battle variants designed specifically to recreate the atmosphere of the Vietnam War. Hell Let Loose Vietnam will hit PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5 in 2026. the studio A3TM7 just dropped a gameplay video for their new action game, Blackwood. You'll be stepping into the shoes of Anton Blackwood, a hired assassin living a double life. By day, he sells DVD movies, and by night, he's off on dangerous missions. This 3-minute clip shows off both staged cutscenes and the actual gameplay. The overall vibe can be summed up like this. The character kind of reminds you of John Wick, engaging in shootouts reminiscent of Max Payne, and he takes down enemies with moves similar to the Punisher style. The locations are all dark and really capture that noir feel of a killer's double life. But honestly, the graphics feel a bit dated. I don't know, maybe that's part of the game's charm. Still, players who checked out the video are recommending the devs work on the main character's voice acting, improve the character models, and definitely enhance the visual details. At the same time, it's noted that Blackwood has an interesting mix of elements from well-known stealth action games. Fun fact, folks, games inspired by cinematic action films often become cult classics. Just think of the Max Payne series, which set new standards for action games with slow-motion bullet time elements. Who knows, this game could be a hidden gem. A small British studio, Hello Games, known for their game No Man's Sky, aims to reach new heights. Maybe even higher than they did 13 years ago when they announced their adventure sci-fi survival game, set in an almost endless universe. So in Light No Fire, developers are promising something that's never been done before. A real-scale planet to explore without any boundaries, where players can team up freely in a fantasy setting that already includes dragons, anthropomorphic races, and various kinds of magic. Light No Fire is a massive multiplayer adventure that combines elements of survival, world exploration, and cooperative settlement building. The game takes place on a gigantic fantasy planet the size of Earth. This vast world is brimming with diverse biomes, unique creatures, and valuable natural resources. Players from all over the globe can meet here to build settlements together, explore uncharted paths, and face the dangers of the wild. This planet holds endless possibilities for exploration. By the way, the trailer for Light No Fire has already broken records on Hello Games' YouTube channel, surpassing almost 20 million views. Light No Fire is set to launch in early 2027 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC.